Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for every pulse, twist, and roar from Anfield. Today we've got massive breaking updates, from a $157 million superstar agreement to Liverpool's stance on a $75 million Premier League ace, a worrying injury update as Andy Robertson returns, and Alexander Isak talks that could shake things up, plus a big verdict on Florian Wirtz and what it means for one of our own Reds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Liverpool Diamond back to ignite for Arne Slot as agreement reached on $157 million. Ace Florian Wirtz has played better for Liverpool than many pundits have been willing to accept. But there is plenty more to come from the Germany playmaker. This season and beyond, former Premier League goalkeeper Shay Given has backed Florian Wirtz to show his true quality at Liverpool soon after. A slow start at Anfield, Wirtz is yet to score or assist since his $157 million move from Bayer Leverkusen in the summer, but he impressed against Chelsea in his last appearance, coming off the bench at halftime. The German has been backed to improve in the coming weeks, though, and he is working hard behind the scenes to get fitter and stronger. Alexander Isak hasn't had a preseason. He needs to get up to speed, Given said while working for Premier League Productions. Wirtz, I do like Wirtz. He's getting a lot of stick at the minute, but there's a diamond in there. I think he will be a top player for years to come. The eye test points to Wirtz improving in the coming fixtures, and when Isak and Mohamed Salah improve, that will help. So too will the incremental development of chemistry between the trio. The boy is hard-working, shows energy on and off the pitch, German teammate David Raum said this week. He was one of the players on the pitch the longest again today. We believe in the boy and we're building him up here, but he knows what he's capable of. Germany legends Bastian Schweinsteiger and Philipp Lahm are also in agreement about Wirtz as the 22-year-old's integration in English soccer continues. Both believe, like Raum, that there is lots more to come from their fellow countrymen in the next few months. We have to give the players a bit of time, Schweinsteiger said via RTL. Especially when you move from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, you also have to adjust a bit. I've experienced that myself. He will delight us all in the future. Florian Wirtz is a fantastic footballer, a great character. We should be happy that we have such a player in Germany. I'm not worried about Florian Wirtz at all because he's such an outstanding, brilliant player who simply makes his teammates better, Lahm added. Quality and class always prevail, and that will absolutely be the case with Florian Wirtz. Liverpool's stance on $75 million Premier League ace after failed Man Utd transfer meeting? Liverpool are keeping tabs on Bournemouth star Antoine Semenyo, who the Cherries now value at $75 million, with the winger enjoying another stellar season. Previously attracting interest from Manchester United, Liverpool are reportedly keeping a close eye on Bournemouth star player Antoine Semenyo, who is now valued at a whopping $75 million after another impressive season that kicked off with a double strike at Anfield. Despite the departure of some of his high-profile teammates last summer, Semenyo opted to stay put at the Vitality Stadium. Now, Liverpool are considering making a move for him, with sporting director Richard Hughes being a longtime admirer of Semenyo from his time at Bournemouth, where he signed him from Bristol City. Back then, Semenyo was bought for a mere $10.5 million, but given his consistent performance at Bournemouth, TalkSport reports that he could now be sold for over 7 times that amount. His excellent start to the season only strengthens Bournemouth's belief that their hefty price tag is justified. The Ghanaian forward has already netted 6 goals this season, with only Erling Haaland outscoring him in the Premier League. His individual brilliance continues to boost Andoni Iraola's side, which once again finds itself among the top teams. Manchester United and Tottenham both considered signing Semenyo last summer, and it's understood that the Red Devils are still monitoring the player. However, he ended up signing a new contract with Bournemouth, while Ruben Amorim brought in Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo instead. The United boss is said to have dined with Semenyo in London at the end of last season to assess the player's character. CEO Omar Barada and transfer chief Jason Wilcox also engaged in talks with Bournemouth regarding the former Robins star, but no deal was reached. United were prepared to shell out $55 million for Semenyo, who netted 13 goals last season. However, it's reported that the player himself pledged his future to Bournemouth after discovering that the Manchester club planned to offer him a lower wage than other targets. Liverpool's interest in Semenyo might be seen as unexpected, particularly considering their abundance of attacking players and the ongoing challenge of integrating them into an effective team. Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, and Florian Wirtz were all brought in during the summer. They join existing players Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo. One player who did make the move from Bournemouth to Liverpool recently was Milos Kerkez, but the Hungarian has so far struggled to match his previous performance levels at Anfield, often playing second fiddle to Andy Robertson. Liverpool handed worrying injury update as Andy Robertson makes return. Liverpool defender Andy Robertson has returned to training for Scotland, but Ibrahima Konate remains absent for France. Ibrahima Konate remains sidelined for France to leave Liverpool still sweating on the fitness of the centre-back. But Andy Robertson has handed Reds boss Arne Slot a boost by returning to training for Scotland on Wednesday. Konate limped off shortly after half-time in Liverpool's dramatic 2-1 Premier League defeat at Chelsea on Saturday evening, with Slot later fearing the player had suffered a quad problem. The centre-back nevertheless joined up with the France squad on Monday ahead of their World Cup qualifiers against Azerbaijan on Friday and Iceland next Monday, where his injury was assessed. And while France national team boss Didier Deschamps had remained tight-lipped over Konate's condition, his France teammate and Arsenal defender William Saliba has shed light on the Liverpool player's fitness. He hasn't been training because he has some minor injuries, said Saliba on Wednesday. I hope he'll be back soon, but I don't know anymore. Konate has struggled for form this season, but is one of only 3 senior recognized centre-back Slot can call on at Liverpool, with summer signing Giovanni Leone ruled out for the campaign after suffering ACL damage on his debut against Southampton in the League Cup a fortnight ago. Robertson finished the game at Stamford Bridge with an injury concern of his own after being caught heavily by Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo, but the Scotland skipper was back, training with his country on Wednesday ahead of Thursday's World Cup qualifier at home to Greece, with Steve Clarke's side then entertaining Belarus 3 days later. Liverpool, who have lost their last 3 games, are next in action on Sunday week with the Premier League visit of bitter Northwest rivals Manchester United. For the latest news and breaking news, visit liverpoolecho.co.uk, all about Liverpool FC. Get all the big headlines, pictures, analysis, opinion, and video on the stories that matter to you. Follow us on Twitter, @LiveEchoLFC, the official Liverpool Echo LFC Twitter account, for all the latest LFC news as it happens in real time. Alexander Isak private talks continue as Liverpool theory set for ultimate test. A look at Alexander Isak's situation and how game time for Sweden this break will be a big benefit to his Liverpool career in an ideal world for Arne Slot. The fitness program designed for Alexander Isak upon his Liverpool arrival would not have been so detailed. The nature of his protracted and acrimonious move from Newcastle United in the summer transfer window inevitably had a knock-on effect for a player who, by the time he made his first appearance for the Reds, had gone 4 months without a minute of any kind at club level. Isak's only appearance between the end of last season on May 25 and that outing against Atletico Madrid on September 17th came when he played for just 18 minutes. For Sweden against Kosovo earlier last month, the Swedish manager, Jon Dahl Tomasson, deserves a big compliment because he gets the best striker in the world but understands if he plays 90 minutes twice, he might be injured for a number of weeks, Liverpool head coach Slot said after the last international break. We will treat him the same as they did. Since then, the 125-meter striker has amassed 312 of the 630 minutes played for the Reds, excluding stoppage time, laying bare that the plan has been to use him for roughly half of the time in an effort to get him up to speed without overburdening him, exposing a player who had no preseason schedule to the intensity of the Premier League, particularly at a club like Liverpool, where the demands and expectations are astronomical, is a risk. And while some of his extended runouts have been decided by specific game states, Slot and his staff have been determined to stick to the plan. The sight of Isak doing shuttle runs during the halftime interval of the 2-1 win over Southampton in the Carabao Cup last month was indicative of that. The 26-year-old might have been minded to have felt he earned a sit-down and a pat on the back in the dressing room, having opened his account for his new club on the cusp of half-time. Instead, the most expensive player of all time in British football was back out, running lengths of the Anfield pitch under the watchful eye of fitness staff before being withdrawn, as was the case after his 23-minute cameo in the Merseyside derby win over Everton. Slot has gone public with his belief that Isak won't be considered as being 100% internally until after the international break. Whether that was done to stave off critiques, assessments, or knee-jerk judgment from pundits and media, or whether it is the genuine thought process inside, the club, only the head coach and his inner circle will know. We can't change the situation with Isak, Sweden boss Thomason said this week. I'm just happy that Liverpool are doing the same thing I would have done. Florian Wirtz agreement reached with clear verdict on Liverpool ace. Liverpool signed Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen this summer, with Arne Slot still working out how to get the best from him. Alexander Isak and Mohamed Salah Liverpool attacking midfielder. Florian Wirtz has been criticized in some quarters since his move to Anfield this summer, but the verdict in Germany is clear. Moving to the Premier League for a fee of around 157 million, 116 million. The belief in Wirtz's homeland is that he will come good at Liverpool sooner rather than later. Quite simply, he is too talented not to. The boy is hard-working, shows energy on and off the pitch, German teammate David Raum said this week. He was one of the players on the pitch the longest again today. We believe in the boy and we're building him up here. But he knows what he's capable of, Germany legends Bastian Schweinsteiger and Philipp Lahm are also in agreement about Wirtz after the 22-year-old's slowish start to life on Merseyside. We have to give the players a bit of time, Schweinsteiger said, via RTL, especially when you move from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. You also have to adjust a bit. I've experienced that myself. He will delight us all in the future. Florian Wirtz is a fantastic footballer, a great character. We should be happy that we have such a player in Germany. I'm not worried about Florian Wirtz at all because he's such an outstanding, brilliant player who simply makes his teammates better, Lahm added. Quality and class always prevail, and that will absolutely be the case with Florian Wirtz. Last month, Bayern Munich CEO Karl-Heinz Rummenigge said Wirtz would have been better off signing for the Bundesliga giant rather than moving to England. From a club representative's perspective, I can understand the statement about one of Germany's best players if he didn't join his own club, and we shed a tear for him. DFB Managing Director Andreas Rettig responded. One thing is clear, Florian will prevail at Liverpool. There's no debate about that. With a player of his quality, no one can seriously say he won't prevail. Germany will play Northern Ireland and Luxembourg this week in World Cup qualifying. Wirtz scored against the former in the last international break and will hope to repeat the trick. Liverpool returns to action in 11 days against Manchester United.